You know, when we talk about what's going on in Iraq, the pace of U.S. diplomacy is now starting to pick up finally. Secretary of State John Kerry arrived in Baghdad this morning. Does his arrival change the trajectory of oil's rise? And if not, what would?
I mean, my concern is that what can John Kerry accomplish at this point? I mean, what is he going to do? If Prime Minister Maliki steps down, who's going to take his place? And is that going to somehow change the insurgency? I don't think so. The question is, we don't have an Iraqi army capable of stemming this fight right now. And we're giving potentially 300 advisors. Is that going to be enough? Again, probably not at this point.
Helima, why have the Saudis been so curiously absent or quiet?
Well, the Saudis have a difficult choice here. They do not like Prime Minister Maliki. They believe he's basically declared an all-out war on Sunni politicians. He's given them no place in the post-Saddam political order. They believe he's basically tied to the hip to Iran. Now, they don't like groups like ISIS either. They have ISIS cells in Saudi Arabia that they've wrapped up. So Saudi Arabia is in a difficult bind at this point. They'd like to see Maliki gone, but they'd like, they don't want ISIS to flourish either.
Dr. Croft, we've had a number of informed interviews, and I don't want you to give away state secrets from your tenure at the CIA. What is the quality of our intelligence? I mean, we left Iraq. Do we really know what's going on there?
I mean, we still have an embassy there, a very, very sizable U.S. embassy there. So I don't think it's a case necessarily of not knowing. And in fact, if you look at, frankly, what the journalists have been writing, look what Ned Parker has been writing, look what Anthony Shadid wrote before he died. It's not like we did not know what was happening in Iraq with the rise of ISIS. They took Fallujah and Ramadi in January. People have been warning on this for years. And now we have the question of what do we do about this? But this was a tragedy foretold.
What is Secretary Kerry doing today? What would you suggest his mission is in Baghdad?
Well, I think at this point they're trying to look for the post-Maliki political order. But again, how do you get the man who actually won this election to step down? And he does have elite soldiers that are loyal to him. So that could actually be a source of new instability if he were to be summarily pushed out of office.
You know, that's a great point. He was elected by the Iraqi people. Does he still have the mandate?
Well, this is an interesting question. There's no government at this point. It could be a very, very protracted process that took over 10 months 4 years ago. But 4 years ago, he actually didn't win the most seats in the parliament. And guess what? The United States backed his return to power along with the Iranians. Now we're going to potentially try to dump him when he actually did win the elections. It's not an easy situation.
Well, that's the problem with American diplomacy. It flip-flops.
It flip-flops when facts on the ground change.